If you are working with a really high budget and you want the best PC possible, but you do not want to build a PC yourself, this video is going to be for you. I will show you my top 5 favorite Prebuilt PCs that are going to give you the best performance possible with the RTX 4090 as a GPU. You will have the links to all of these Prebuilt PCs down below in the video description. That being said, let's start. With the first one, we have the cheapest PC on this list with the RTX 4090, and also one thing I forgot to mention is that if you have a lower budget, you will have more Prebuilt PCs that are high-end in the description, but they do not have the RTX 4090. They will have RTX 4080s, 4070 Ti's, which are still great, and they are going to give you top performance. But if you want the best of the best, the 4090, of course, is going to be the top performer. Now, this Omen 45L is going for $3,300, but after the coupon code you will find in the description, it's going to be under $3,000, which is actually a really solid price for the RTX 4090 and the i9 13900K, which in my opinion is the best combo when it comes to an overall PC, because you get the best gaming performance, of course, but you also get a really good content creation and productivity work performance. So honestly, for under $3,000, this PC is going to be amazing. I've tested an Omen 45L myself and they work great. And the only thing I do not like about this system is the fact that it comes with 16 gigs of RAM. So I do recommend you upgrading it to 32 gigs. Don't worry, it's an easy upgrade and it's going to be really cheap, especially considering you are working with this high-end budget. And at the end of the day, it's going to be around $3,000 if you make this upgrade, which, yes, of course, it's not ideal that you have to upgrade something yourself on a Prebuilt PC, but trust me, you are saving so much money here. And if you want to do just gaming at the highest level, you do not need anything more than this. Spending more than this will not give you extra performance. Anyway, moving on to the next one, we have the Skytech Eclipse, and for you to see the price difference, this one is $3,600, so $600 more expensive than the last one, and in terms of performance, it's going to be almost the same. The only reason I put it here is because you get the Ryzen 9 7900X and you get the AM5 platform, which means that in the future you can upgrade the CPU if you want. If you do not want to touch the inside of the system, then I think the Omen 45L is the much better option. But here you already have 32 gigs of RAM, so no need for an upgrade, and of course you are getting top tier performance. Any of these PCs with the RTX 4090 will run your favorite title at 4K resolution on the highest settings and highest FPS possible. Remember, we are talking about the highest end GPU on the market at the moment, so there's no game that you cannot run at your desired settings. And if you play esports titles, all of these systems will be able to achieve 240 plus FPS on average on competitive titles, which is going to be way more than enough for any 4K monitor, since a 240Hz 4K monitor is going to be the limit. Now, with the next one, we have an interesting one for $4,000. We have the Skytech Prism 3. This one comes with the RTX 4090, of course, 32 gigs of RAM, but you get the i9 13900KS, which is once again one of the best CPUs on the market. Here you also get 2 TB of Gen 4 SSD, which is going to be helpful if you're going to be transferring a bunch of files or you want to download a ton of games. I think this one looks amazing as well. The airflow is pretty good and you are getting a beast of a system here. But remember, as I said before, between systems here, the performance difference is not as huge, considering you get the same GPU and all of the CPUs that you're getting here are top tier anyway. And when working with a 4K monitor, which is what I recommend for these systems, the CPU difference will not make a difference when it comes to gaming performance. Now, if you want to buy one of these PCs but you have a 1440p or a 1080p monitor, then you can do one of two things. The first one being upgrading your monitor to a 4K one, because trust me, you do not want to play 1440p, let alone 1080p. It will be an overkill and you will not be taking advantage of the GPU. So in the top right, you will have 2 videos of mine. One is going to be about the best Prebuilt PCs of the month, where you can get Prebuilt PCs for a much cheaper price if you're going to be playing at 1440p or 1080p. And the second one being about monitors, if you really want to buy one of these systems but you don't have a 4K monitor. And don't worry, there's an option for every budget and every resolution. Moving on to the next one, we have the Bellstorm CTO gaming PC from Amazon. This one has the i9 13900K and the RTX 4090 for the price of $4,550, which is a really high price. But the main difference here is that you get 128 gigs of DDR5 memory instead of 32 gigs of RAM, which is going to make a huge difference if you are a creator or you do really high demanding RAM tasks. As I said at the beginning, if you do just gaming, this will not make a difference. Then you get 2 TB of SSD, plus 6 terabytes of hard drive, so yes, you get plenty of storage. And then with the most expensive one, we get another Burston PC, but this time from Newegg for $4,770. Here you get the RTX 4090, of course, 64 gigs of DDR5 memory, which is a ton of memory, and then you get the Ryzen 9 7900X3D, which is the fastest CPU for gaming on the market. Now, you will notice a difference only if you play really high demanding CPU titles, but in my opinion, it's not going to be a huge difference anyway, because any of the other PCs are going to be running at higher frame rates than your monitor can display, so you will not be able to tell the difference with your eyes. But if you want that FPS mark to be higher in CPU demanding titles, then this one is the one to go with, or if you just want the best of the best in the market, in my opinion, this one is the one to buy. However, there are actually more expensive Prebuilt PCs on the market, so I will leave in the description all of these PCs, but I will also leave the more expensive ones and cheaper ones if you want to go for a 1440p monitor or maybe a 4K one, but spending less money. And if you need some PC guidance, you can go to my website and ask me for personal PC help, where I will be able to guide you through everything, and I highly recommend you doing this, especially if you're going to spend a ton of money on a system, because you don't want to mess it up at this price point. If you got to this point of the video, comment down below, Shadow, I'm here, that way I know you're a real one. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.